Um,
Walaikum salam, brother. We can hear you.
Wow, perfect. So now let's start the class. Shabir, I already sent him the link, so he's going to join. I just called Ishan. He's going to join in a minute or so. And Brahman, he's on the way, but he needs about 10 to 20 minutes to reach home and then get started. So in the meantime, let me know, guys, if you have any questions, any concerns, or if you have anything, let me know. So today, I'm going to start the Hyper-V once again, the one we were doing before, and I'm going to go by book today to show you that we are not missing anything. So I'm going to start from module one, from lesson one, and then I will show you all the different types of virtualizations. We will speak about the components, and then I have emailed you um, a map software and a guide how to use it. You just have to do it is in an example way. You don't need an environment to do it because that file we have it has been created by the Microsoft and they did it in their lab. So they had the server. So it's like you have the database. Now you only have to connect to the database and see the different functionality of that software. That's it. So you don't need to learn it. You just need to see it to get acquainted to the environment or to get acquainted with the language. But see how exactly the things work.
so map is just the soft application that helps inventory data performance and hardware configuration.
Can you come again? I didn't understood your question.
So I'm asking, map is an application that helps to collect the inventory, like
Yes,
any kind of inventory, like IP
yes,
addresses
yes, yes,
and
yes, yes. You are right. So map
okay.
is a software which see, suppose you are working in a company, okay? So you are not the one who is going to start a company. You will join a company. So when you join a company, they already have servers. They might be using VMware, they might be using Citrix, they might be using something or something else to run their environment. When you are in the environment, and if a question comes to you asking, "Oh, boss, we need to virtualize our environment. We need to see how much it costs. We need to see because you need to know if you are virtualizing, if you want to do that, go to that technology, how much is it going to cost you? Who is going to say that? I mean, you cannot guess it. So, okay, boss, I think it's 100,000 should be enough, and we will be able to virtualize it. You can't say that. You need to go into each server. You need to see the utilization. You need to see the hardware, uh, what type of hardware is used, what type of hardware the software is using. There are so many things you need to consider. Then you can come up with the pricing saying that okay, I think even then you will say, I think 200,000 will be enough to virtualize or work and get a new hardware installed in our data center. Right. So mostly every company is going towards virtualization. Why? Because it needs less space. When it needs less space, it needs less wiring. When it's less when it use less wiring, it needs it when the when it use less space, that means the machinery is less. When the machinery is less, the heat is less. Once the heat is less, that means You don't need that much of AC power to be running. So it's getting consolidated. It's the big rooms. You don't need it anymore. When you have a bigger room, you the AC power, the power what you are using is going to be much. So it's reducing everything. It's reducing the power cost. It's reducing the space cost, and that space can be used for something else. Okay. So how will you come up to a point saying that this is what is required? That is what map does. You install a map and then you run your complete inventory, your servers. It will give you what is getting used, what the server is, and what do you need if you want to virtualize. This software will show you. And this is the first module of Hyper-V. So now we will start from here and then again we will see the installation. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to show you the lab and then we will proceed that way. Okay. So let's go to evaluating, evaluating the environment for virtualization. So it's a new environment. So let's evaluate and see. Let's go from lesson one and check it out. So what exactly this module goes with? Microsoft offers several virtualization technologies that organizations can use to resolve challenges that they encounter when running traditional server computing environment. For example, server virtualization can help reduce the number of physical servers. Perfectly, I mean this is what we wanted. We want less servers. Where we are using 8 physical servers, instead of that, we can use one physical server and eight on top of it, 8 virtual machines, and that is reducing our physical servers. And it provides a flexible and resilient server solution for business. This module provides an overview of different Microsoft virtualization technologies and explains how you can use technologies to manage both virtualization and traditional infrastructure. So let's go with the overview of Microsoft virtualization. So once again, it says the same thing. It's what is Microsoft virtualization? What exactly we are trying to achieve here? We are trying to achieve is less hardware, more work. Right click on your own computer. So right now I'm using this Dell laptop. If I right click here, go to Task Manager and where it is? Okay, here it is. And if I go to performance, see, I have this much of CPU. I have i7, such a big, I mean, whatever it is, a core laptop or take it as a server. What I'm utilizing 12% of my laptop. That means I'm not even using half of it, not even a quarter of it. So what about the other resources? What are they getting into? They are not getting used at all. So I have a very good laptop, but I'm not using it. So same, you guys are doing the same thing. You have a best server, you have a good laptop, and you are not using it completely. What's the use of paying $1,000 and getting a laptop if you're not using it completely? I mean, I don't want you to use it up to 100%, but at least use it up to 80% of CPU. Check the RAM. I have about how much GB? About 8 GB of RAM. What I'm using? 3.8 GB? Not even half. So, and all the other things, even disk. See what I'm using. So this is what happens with the servers as well. We put the servers in the in our office, and there is a very minimal use. I can show you a real example. I will show you by the end of this class. I will show you the real examples. I will show you my environment, what I have it in my company, which will give you more good idea. So we are not using it completely. So to reduce that, we came up with the virtualization technique. So what we are going to learn here is, after completing the lesson, we will understand the describe the different types of virtualization technologies. There are so many different virtualization technologies. Okay, explains the scenario where you would implement server virtualization. Where will you implement the server virtualization? Describe the features and benefits of network virtualization. Describe the features and benefits of user state virtualization. Describe the features and benefits of presentation virtualization, of application virtualization, and benefits of cloud computing. So here are the different types of virtualization: server virtualization, desktop virtualization, user state virtualization, presentation virtualization, network virtualization, application virtualization. What is a server virtualization? Where you virtualize a server is a server virtualization. In the simple words, if you read this, it says use the same thing. There is a server, you want you are virtualizing it. It is called server virtualization. So in Microsoft environment, server virtualization involves running virtual machines on a host that is running Hyper-V. So this is in terms of Hyper-V, in terms of Microsoft. If you go with VMware, it's a server virtualization which uses EXSI as a host and running on vCenter. Server virtualization abstracts the physical server resources and then presents the resource to each virtual machine that is running on a physical host. For example, server virtualization allows why multiple virtual machines to share the same physical hardware, yet appears as a separate servers on the organization network. Let me open up the server. One, 92. So this is a drag, the backdoor entry I'm going with to Kelvin and didn't work. Good. Okay, this is what the server you are seeing. So let me open the hypervisor and let's go back. So what these virtual machines, each virtual machine is a different machine altogether. So when I can install anything on this, I can install anything on this, I can install anything this. I have already named it as DSCP. I have already saying this server as DNS. So I can have all different roles installed on one single machine. So if you come out of the virtual machine, what exactly is this server? This is just one server. And I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, about eight, nine virtual machines on it. I have Windows, I have Linux. I can install much more. I can install much more on it. And that's what our document is saying. Our presents the resources to each virtual machine that is running on a physical host. And for example, server virtualization allows multiple virtual machines to share a same physical hardware as appear as separate servers to the organization network. Virtual machines known as guests that runs on the Hyper-V. So to all VMs, we can also say it as guest. And the server on which it's running is called host. So the main server what I have, that 6950, it's called host, and the virtual machines on it are called as guest. And we can install Windows or Linux on it. That's what this complete description is about. Server virtualizations allow you to use hardware resources more efficiently. So what it will do, the CPU see, it has four CPUs. I have eight servers on it. So every server is using the same CPU. Every server is using same RAM. I have 32 GB RAM. It's getting every server is using the same RAM. So when every server is using it, my RAM will be used, not 100%, because if it's 100% everything gets crashed. So at least up to 80% it will get used. So it's like I am doing a valid justice with the money I'm spending. I bought 32 GB and I'm using it. As if I see our laptop, we have technology in hand, but we are not using it. It's waste of money. So you can also have an i3 instead of going with i7 because you are not using it. What is desktop virtualization? The name says it. The name says it. Anything that is related to a desktop, that is, desktop operating systems are different, server operating systems are different. You cannot use 2012 R2 as a desktop uh, uh, server. I mean, as a desktop. For a desktop, you use Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows XP, Windows 7. These are desktop operating systems. So when you are virtualizing a desktop which has Windows 7 in it, that means you are virtualizing a desktop environment. So desktop virtualization often represents two separate concepts: client-side virtualization, server desktop VDI. These are two different concepts. So client-side virtualization is again the same thing what I spoke about. A hypervisor runs on a desktop operating system such as Windows 8.1 and hosts a small number of virtual machines that the users will utilize. So as I said before, Windows 2012 R2 or Windows 2012 12 or Windows 2012 2016 all have a hypervisor role in them. You can install it. Even 2008 has 2008 R2 has a hypervisor role in it. You can install it, make it a hypervisor, and go from there. Windows 10 don't have it. If you go and check hyper, just a minute, what happened? Hyper, you will not find it. You will not find it. But Windows 8 has it. We will not be able to install it here, but I have Windows 8 machines here. If you install Windows 8 on our laptop, yes, we can install virtual machines on it. So if you guys, anyone have a Windows 8 laptop, you can make it an hypervisor and install some virtual machines on it separately. And there is a technology called Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, VDI. You have this technology in Microsoft, you have this technology in VMware as well. A client operating systems run on a remote server and users connect to it using a remote desktop client. There is no I mean, when 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 you access something, as of right now, I'm accessing something. I need a medium to access it. But VDI is something which doesn't need a medium. It needs a medium, but it's just a monitor. That's it. It doesn't need a CPU, RAM, and so many things to access a remote computer. You just have to access the remote computer and do everything on the remote computer. You're not doing anything on your desktop. Other, take this. If I am working here, I just I need is this screen. I just need this screen. Now I can work whatever I have to. I mean, if I want to create a new virtual machine, I'm actually creating it on a server, and I don't need this resources. Even this server is only Pentium dual core, a very less server. It only has to support a Java and get this application on top of it, and I only work here. So that is VDI. So virtual desktop infrastructure. Many companies use this and gave it to. I mean, they gave a, a light laptop to their employees, and they connect to the servers directly from their screens and then work on it. So they don't need a heavy laptop or any heavy resources to use this. So that's the reason VDI is very important. Many companies use it. So let's see in detail what the client-side virtualization is. Client-side virtualization uses Hyper-V role on supported operating system editions and hardware running Windows 8 or in Windows 8.1. Virtual machines running on Hyper-V client are compatible with servers running Hyper-V. Client-side virtualization is often used as an application compatibility solution, allowing individual users to run multiple versions of Windows client operating system simultaneously on their client computer hardware. Client computer hardware. So instead of Windows 2012 R2, if I install Windows 8 here, I mean there and create some client virtual machines with Windows 8.1 on it, there are many customers who can log into it and do their work. And we also get devices where there is just a monitor connected and there is a very small device that is connected to the monitor which displays the screen of the virtual machine, and then they can directly work on it. So it's just an output input device, that's it. And that is cost reduction. I mean, if you buy a laptop, it's expensive, but if you buy that device, it's very less expensive. And comparatively, you don't need to pay for so much of money for so many of employees working for you. Just create a virtual machine, give them a device, connect to a monitor, and they can work on it. That's it. In many companies, they do it to the consultants. When they hire a consultant, they give a laptop, a minimum laptop with a VDI on it. So they just log into their virtual machine, and then from there they do whatever they have to, their daily work. You would typically use client-side virtualization scenarios where you need to provide application compatibility with small number of users. When large number of users require an application compatibility solution, you use the instead host the previous version of the Windows client operating system on server running Hyper-V. So that's what it says. If you are using in a small number, it's okay to go with client-side virtualization and go with Windows 8.1. Get 15. Uh, you can give it to like 15 users. They can use it with no issues. But if you have up to 50 users, it's better to go with the Hyper-V 2012 version. For an example, consider where an organization of several hundred people, you have 5 users that need to run a series of applications on Windows XP operating system for several months until the replacement solution can be found. All users in the organization have desktop computers and ran 8.1 operating system. In this scenario, we would consider deploying Windows XP in a virtual machine. So this can happen. Suppose you have an old application. Your company don't want to invest in the new application. Or suppose you have an old application and they stopped making a new one. But you are still stick to old application. But you cannot stick to same operating system every time because whenever you go and buy a new laptop, Microsoft will give you a new operating system along with it. So at that point, suppose if you have to use that old application till it dies or till you decide let it go, so at that point you can install 8.1 hypervisor and then put a virtual machine of Windows XP on top of it and let the users log into it and work with the old application. You don't need a physical server. You don't need a physical server to do it, which costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But a virtual machine can do your work. So this is what it is, man. You might consider a different solution such as VDI or System Center 2012 R2 applications. Okay, where I left. If you have a larger number of users that need to run a series of incompatible applications, or an incompatible application needs to be used in a longer term basis, okay? You might consider a different solution such as VDI or System Center 2012 R2 application virtualization app. So let's see what app VDI is. Bring your own device. BYOD. Bring your own device. BYOD environment. So this can happen if you have a VDI. So usually what happens is in my company is when we hire a new consultant, okay, everybody has a laptop. So even if you get a job, you go along with your laptop. Sometimes your company asks you to bring your home laptop to their office. You bring it. They give you a software to install on top of it. What is that? That is VDI. When you install it, so it's something like this. You install it, and when you double click on it, it asks you for your username and password that is provided by the company. So you put your username and password, you click on login, a whole new Windows come in front of you, and your screen is gone. Your laptop is at the back, and you have a whole new screen with a new operating system on it, where you can access your emails, you can chat with your colleagues, and do all your daily work. You're minded. You're not using your laptop here. Your laptop is just an input output device showing you what you are doing. And it's using your keyboard and mouse. That's it. All the work what you are doing is in the VDI. That is a desktop created for you on a virtual machine. You're just getting it on your laptop and working on it. This is the same thing. It is it is it is not on my laptop. This is just an input output which you are seeing it. But if I have to do something, I can do it here. I can put anything I want to. So bring your own device. VDI enables you to run some or all of an organization's client computers and virtual machines. Users can connect to those virtual machines using a remote desktop client from any compatible computer or device. Client computers in a VDI environment run as a pool of virtual machines which provide organization with the following benefits. Our client accessible through any device. You can even use your own phone. If you have a VDI installed on your phone, use your phone, go into your environment, your desktop, do the work. We need the work to be done. So this depends upon the company policies, what they are using, and what they are going to provide you. Because the client operating system runs independently of the hardware, user can access their personal client virtual machine by using a variety of devices. VDI provides a solution to bring your own device, BYOD environment, ensuring that a standardized environment is available even if each user has their own unique device. What will happen? The advantages of VDI is if I have to update, suppose I am a system admin, I want to update all of my 10,000 employees who has company has provided them a laptop. I want to update some patch on their laptops. It's very easy. I go to my environment and I update it from here. If if I have to, just right click here and you can update it because all the servers and everything are here. So it simplifies things. So reduce. So one client accessible through any device because the client operating system runs independently of hardware. User can access their personal client virtual machine by using a variety of devices. Or else I said that there is a device which connects to your monitor and it gives you your virtual machine. Just work on it. That's it. So VDI provides a solution for bring your own device environment, ensuring that the standardized environment is available even if each user has their own unique device. So you can use Mac, you can use anything. You just have to get the screen on to your desktop. Reduces hardware cost. Yes. Suppose I have 10,000 employees working for me and I have to give 10,000 employees a 10,000 laptops. But instead of that, if I give them a VDI, a virtual machine, so I will have 10,000 virtual machines for them, but the hardware I will have is much less and much costlier. I might need 15 servers, 20, 100 servers to support 10,000 people, VMs, but not 10,000 laptops. Reduce hardware costs instead of having to manage and maintain a client computer for each user. You only need to meet the minimum requirements of a keyboard, a mouse, and a display capability of running a remote desktop client. As I said you before, simplified updates. It simplifies updates if I have to update anything. Rather than updating client individually, you can update virtual machines in a VDI deployment in a centralized way. Simplify deployment. You can deploy a new computer quickly from the existing virtual machine pool. Yes, just right click it, put a new machine, and it goes, and the new employee will get it. High availability. It's really a high availability. Suppose something happens to one of the um, server, sorry, one of the desktop, the other can readily be given to you very easily. I mean, suppose your laptop burned out. So now you cannot work unless you get a new laptop. It will take 7 to 8 days. But if you have a BDI and suppose something happens to your virtual machine, it's not working, you install some software which has a virus on it, just rebuild it and you got it. Same credentials, use it. Same operating system. The only thing is you will lose some data. Sometimes that data can also be recovered and give you a new machine, or just delete this machine or put it in an archive folder, get you a new one. It's easy. So it's highly available. Highly available. High availability because the client computer is a virtual machine. You can take it highly available by running it on highly available virtualization host. In the event that the hardware on device or a device on which the client virtual machine experience a hardware failure, you can issue a replacement without the user losing access to the application or data. This is because the operating system application and data are kept separate from any client computer hardware. Backup and recovery. Because virtual machines are data, VDI simplifies the process of centralized backing up client computers. So, what is a virtual machine? It's a data, so it's very easy to take a backup of the client computer. So, network virtualization. What is a network virtualization? The second topic, and we just completed desktop virtualization. We completed server virtualization, then desktop virtualization, and now we are going to network virtualization, the third topic. A network virtualization. If you observe, I have shown you uh, three. I have created three networks. I have created this network. External, internal, private switch. I can create more switches if I have external, internal, or private. I want to create an internal switch. Okay, internal switch, and I also want to enable VLAN, make it VLAN 20, and click apply. So this is no, I want to change the name. Internal switch 20, V20, VLAN 20. Let's name it VLAN 20. So what will happen is this virtual machine, if I select this and click OK, enable, I also have to give this option, and then VLAN identifier is 20. If I give this, what will happen is this particular VM will not be able to communicate any server, not even to its host, not even to its host. It cannot communicate to anyone except the other server which is in the same VLAN. So it's like a one-way communication between two servers. How is this thing getting connected? How is this thing happening? I mean, I am more isolating the network, and doing this gives me more security. Like this server, you will not have an internet connection. Why? Because they can only connect to each other, to two servers. And this is only possible because of VLAN, which is network virtualization. But if you observe how many network cards do I have? I only have one card. As of now, I only have one physical card in my machine, in my server. And Using that one card, I am using these many cards. I have external switch, internal switch, private switch, internal switch, VLANs only. I can create hell lot of VLANs. I mean, I think I can create up 256 VLANs on this one server, as everything will be handled by my one Ethernet card. So this is so how how exactly the virtual machine is taking this particular VLAN. It's taking it as I can connect multiple. I can connect multiple. So let's do it now. Setting. So I have given 20. Okay, let's click it yes. I need one more. Let's let's do it. I have to go to add hardware network adapter. So for that, I need to turn off the machine. That's the requirement. Then go in. I need a new network adapter connected to the external network or connected to the private network. Click apply.
You're going too fast.
Okay. So I can even create 2 to 3 networks on onto one of my machines. So let's see how many Ethernet cards I have. One, two, three. I can have 3 IP addresses on my one single server, that is DNS1. But in actual, in my server, that is 6950 server, I have only one Ethernet card, and all the traffic to internet or intranet is going through this card only. But this server DNS1, I attached 3 cards. This is network virtualization. Let's read it. What the book says. Network virtualization provides a way to isolate net virtual networks and the virtual machines that connect to them without having to implement VLAN. Network virtualization is of primary interest to organizations that host large number of virtual machines that require isolation of one group of virtual machines from another group. Isolation may be required because the different group of virtual machines uses the same IP address schema, or there may be political or regulatory reasons why one set of virtual machines must be isolated to the other group of virtual machines. By using gateways or virtual private networks, VPN extensions, you can extend virtualized network for isolation communication between Hyper-V hosts. Network virtualization provides many of the benefits that VLANs provide without requiring you to configure physical switches with appropriate VLAN ID. If you need to know more about network virtualization, check on this website. I'm not going to it because that is not included in your course, but this is what the network virtualization is. So we have covered till now is what is desktop virtualization, server virtualization, network virtualization. Let's check what is user state virtualization. User state virtualization allows users assigning to a device, to any device, while retaining their operating system and application settings. This is called roaming profile. So this mainly happens in companies like call center. In call centers, nobody will have their own PC or their own desktop or a laptop. Whoever comes first, he takes the first one. Then you go, the next shift comes in, they take it. So it is 8 hour shift, three shifts a day in 24 hours. So suppose there are 300 employees, so 100 will use the same servers, then 100 will use the same 100 computers, then the same 100 will use the same 100 computers. So though company is going to buy 300 and have different people working on, so they will have only 100 computers, 300 people working for them, 100 every 8 hours. That was an example, okay? So it is called roaming profile. So you can log into A laptop today, you can log into C laptop tomorrow, you can log on to Z laptop 5 days after. Then you can log on to A laptop again after 15 days. So your profiles get replicated and moved with you. The user state virtualization allows user to sign into any device while retaining their operating system and application settings. This provides users with a consistent Windows operating system and application experience. User state virtualization. So we are saying user state virtualization as UE-B works with locally installed desktops or VDI with any combination of locally installed applications, app B, sequence applications, and applications that uses remote apps. User experience virtualization is a System Center 2012 tool that enables users to synchronize their user settings for both application and operating system. Setting storage location is a file share that is user experience virtualization agent used to store the settings. User experience virtualization agent. You have to have this on the from wherever you're opening it. The agent is installed on each computer that will synchronize the settings stored in the settings storage location. Settings location template. These are XML files that define what settings user experience virtualization should monitor and the setting package. These packages are generated by the user experience virtualization agent and are copied to the setting storage location. So what will happen is, suppose if I go to my desktop today, I logged in today, worked with few of the customers, I right click, copied some files on my desktop. Tomorrow I came again, I logged into some other laptop, put my credentials, and I can see the same thing what I did it yesterday. It's my same lab, it's my same user experience. What I had it yesterday, I had it today, but on a different laptop or desktop or a VDI devices, what is provided to me. Because you are not doing anything on your laptop or desktop. Everything is getting saved on a virtual machine. So this is also one type of virtualization. Let's see what is presentation virtualization. Presentation virtualization is another way of describing the remote desktop and a remote app. functionality of the remote desktop service role in Windows 2012 R2 with presentation virtualization. The application or the entire remote desktop runs on a server. Okay, the application user interface or the computer desktop displays on a client device. Presentation virtualization allows applications that would normally not be able to run on a client because of resource constraints to be accessible on that client because the application runs on the server. For example, you can use a remote app to run an app that requires 4 gigabytes of random access memory RAM on a computer with 2 GB of RAM. This is possible because the app will be executed on a remote desktop server. So guys, if you are aware of the latest technologies, the Microsoft has came up with Office 365. Did you guys ever heard about it? Office 365. What it is? Remote desktop client software exists for devices running the Windows RT, Windows Phone, Apple iOS, Mac, and Android operating systems that makes the remote desktop another possible solution in BYOD environment, where users may need to run apps that you do not want to or cannot run locally for architectural or resource reasons. So this is the presentation virtualization, where suppose you have an application, WebLogic, SQL Server, Oracle Server. You cannot install this on your normal machines and work on it because they are resource hungry applications, resource intensive applications. I mean, 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM is not enough at all. They need 32 GB RAM, 64 GB RAM to operate. So, when you have a laptop with 2 GB of RAM, but still you are working on something that required 64 GB RAM, how is it getting possible? That is called a presentation virtualization. They are presenting you a desktop using VDI or some Hyper-V technology, and you are working on it using your 2 GB RAM laptop. But in actual, you are working on a virtual machine which has more RAM on it. And that's how the presentation virtualization is represented as. So guys, starting from lesson 1, we saw server virtualization, desktop virtualization, network virtualization, user state virtualization, presentation virtualization. Now let's see what is app-v, a very interesting topic. I have given you a slide example of app-v about Office 365. Application virtualization app-v is a system-centered tool that virtualize apps by abstracting them from the operating system. App-v allows apps to run without having to install them on the computer. So if you have an Office 365, you don't need to install it on your computer, but still you will have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything that Office has to offer you. This usually happens. Office 365 is getting used in the company. It's not going to be installed or work on the local computers. The application virtualization is a system such as tool that virtualize apps by abstracting them from the operating system. App-v app allows apps to run without having to install them on the computer or server that the server is accessing. The app runs in a separate virtualized silo. It allows you to run apps side by side that would otherwise cause conflict. So this can happen on a same laptop. You can use two different Office. Like you can use Office 2010, you can use Office 2013. I mean, or Office 2016. I mean, suppose you need this old Office uh, to support some files, so you can run both the applications simultaneously without any issues. So, what are the benefits? App benefits include running applications that would otherwise conflict. For example, you can run two different versions of Microsoft Office on the same computer or in an RD session host server. Each application has all necessary sequenced files that is required to run. So you can open one file in Office 2013. You can open one file in Office 2010. It's possible because of app virtualization. Virtualized application display as if they are installed locally. So they show as if they are installed locally. Users can start application from the start screen or from the desktop icon and by file extension association. So suppose it's a Word file or an Excel file, there will be a dot extension associated with the file. If you have it, you can open it. AppV application uses local resources and display in Task Manager. They use local resources, but they are not installed. So AppV applications can be streamed on demand from an AppV server. This allows an application not present locally to be started more quickly. AppV applications can be stored locally once they have completely streamed from the host server. AppV apps can also be installed. Simplified management and deployment with streaming. Virtual applications are delivered on demand from a server, thereby allowing users to download them automatically when they are required. Administrators can update applications on the server, and the AppV desktop client will download the newer version automatically the next time the server runs the application. So what will happen is, let's see, Office 2016 or Office 365. It's a server. It's installed on one particular server, but there are 10,000 people using it across the company. So suppose if I have to update something, if we got a patch from Microsoft saying that, okay, let's update Office 365 to, I just have to update the server. As soon as the next time when the user log in, he can see a prompt, a message saying that click on OK if you want to download a newer version of Office 365. Click on it, click OK. The software gets installed. So this is reducing the labor. So it's reducing the labor cost. So when to maintain thousands of servers and to update, I'm sorry, can you come again?
I said we can't see the screen.
You can't see the screen?
No. Whatever you're doing, we can't see it.
I am not doing anything. I mean, it just says I'm on the.
Okay. Right.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just give me a second here. Okay.
Hello? I cannot hear anything.
Guys, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. I actually muted it. So, so what are the benefits of the app V? Running application that would otherwise conflict. For example, you can run two different versions of Microsoft Office. Virtualized applications display as if they are locally installed. API applications can be streamed on demand from an app server. API applications can be stored locally or they have completely streamed. So this is it has a very good advantage of app V. You don't need to have all the applications installed in every client computer or every server. Office is needed for everyone who works in a company. So now it's on the server and everybody gets it and they just work on it. Install the file. What they want to open, they can open it. So I don't need to install 10,000 Office copies to all of our employees. We just need to install it on the server. The next day you will get it. If you have to update, I don't need to go to each and every one and ask them, okay, I have to update your laptop. I have to update your laptop. I don't need to do that. Just update it on the server, and the next time he logs in, he gets the update, and he do it by himself. Everybody is well educated. We just need to click on OK, next, done. You got it. This is reducing system administrators' jobs also. So as soon as the technologies move forward, as soon as the technologies, I mean, more technologies comes in, every other day there is a different company which comes up with a new technology. The virtualization technology was originally brought in by VMware. They are the godfather for this technology. But Microsoft is also coming up. They are not leaving this technology behind. They are coming up as well as they are coming up with more things. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is a term that describes the delivery and consumption of computing and application resources from a remote location. Cloud computing is a term that describes the delivery and consumption of computing and application resources from a remote location, often but not necessarily over the internet. Users can subscribe to cloud computing resources, which are usually then measured and billed similarly to utility service. Suppose you are you use this much of bandwidth, you use this much of hard disk, you use this. Okay, so this is the bill. So how you get a bill for your gas? How you get a bill for your electricity? In a similar manner, this technology is an emerging one which is coming into the market, and eventually you all guys are going to move into cloud. And VMware and Hyper-V is also one of the technology of cloud. Users can subscribe to cloud computing resources, which are usually then measured and billed similar to utility services. Cloud computing applications are typically dependent on an operating system, and they are available to users across a wide variety of devices. From an administrative perspective, cloud computing infrastructure pooled, should be able to deliver multi-tenant services and should allow rapid scalability. Cloud computing service models include software as a service. So these are the services provided by the cloud. Software as a service, called as SaaS. Platform as a service, PaaS. And infrastructure as a service, that is IaaS. Cloud computing has three main deployment models: public, private, hybrid. So what is a public cloud? Public cloud are infrastructure, platform, or application service that are delivered from a cloud service provider for access and consumption by the public. Private cloud. Private cloud are privately owned and managed clouds that offer similar benefits that of public cloud, but are designed as secure for use by a single organization. What is a hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud is a combination of public and private. So hybrid cloud, a technology that binds two separate clouds, public and private, together for a specific purpose of obtaining resources from both. Microsoft Cloud Services provide technology and application all of these cloud computing models. Some examples of Microsoft Cloud Services are: these are the examples. Microsoft Windows Azure, 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 Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. The most important for you is Microsoft Azure and Microsoft Office 365 understanding. Microsoft Azure is a public cloud environment that offers PaaS. So what is PaaS? Platform as a service. SaaS. What is SaaS? You and I have to look for it. Software as a service. And IaaS is the infrastructure as a service. Developers can subscribe to Windows Azure service and create software which is delivered as SaaS, software as a service. Microsoft Cloud Services uses Windows Azure to deliver some of its own SaaS applications. Microsoft Office 365. Office 365 delivers online version of the Microsoft Office application and online business collaboration tools. Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online is a Microsoft host version of a on-premises Microsoft Dynamics CRM application. Microsoft Private Cloud Hyper-V in Windows 2012 R2 combines with System Center 2012 R2 to create a foundation for building private cloud. By implementing these products as a combined solution, you can deliver much of a same functionality offered by public cloud. So what is a Microsoft Private Cloud? Hyper-V in Windows 2012 combines with System Center 2012 R2. So we will learn about System Center 2012 R2 shortly. Not today, but in coming classes, the last topic. To create a foundation for building private cloud by implementing these projects as a combined solution, you can deliver much of the same functionality offered by public cloud. Microsoft Hybrid Cloud. Microsoft provides a number of hybrid cloud solutions that enables you to back up on-premises cloud applications to a service provider, manage and monitor and move virtual machines between different clouds, con- connect and federate directory services that allows your users to access applications that are constructed across a combination of on-premises service providers and public cloud sites. And what is the advantage of doing such things? You can reduce the computing cost of your organization by using Microsoft Cloud computing technologies. You can also improve the delivery time of infrastructure and application services, ensure that they are always available and monitor their performance. Guys, we have completed lesson one. So what exactly we did in lesson one? We checked out the different types of virtualization. Server virtualization, anything we are working on Windows 2012 R2 hypervisor is a server virtualization. What is desktop virtualization? If we are installing Windows 8.1 and using its Hyper-V and then deploying some of more machines, that is what we referred as desktop virtualization. What is network virtualization? The extended network what we are creating using our virtual switches is the network virtualization. What is user state virtualization? It is where we are seeing the application using a VDI but not using our own resources is a user state virtualization where the roaming profiles are also in effect. So you can log into one computer today and save a file, and you can log into some other computer tomorrow and you can still see your save file on the other computer. What is presentation virtualization? It's what gets presented to you on your screen is a presentation virtualization. On one operating system installed, I can have five different users, and five different users can log in differently from their own computers or phones to a same machine, and it will present a desktop to every one of you. A presentation virtualization. What is an app view? Application virtualization. The example for this I stated was Office 365. So if you want to use two different offices, you can use it using app view. So you are installing an application on a server, and whenever you want to use it, you are using it on a client computer or a server using their extension. The advantage of the app key is whenever I have to update that particular software, I don't need to go to each and every server and update it. I just update the server, update one app server, app virtualized server, and it updates all the users. And what is the cloud computing? And again, in cloud computing, we have three different clouds: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. And this cloud computing do service for software as service, SaaS, platform as service, PaaS, and infrastructure as service, IaaS. And these all are done in private cloud, public cloud, or a hybrid cloud. So what are the examples for public cloud is Windows Azure, Office 365, Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. Example for private cloud is again Hyper-V, the one we are studying, along with System Center 2012. What is Microsoft Hybrid Cloud? Microsoft Hybrid Cloud is a solution for giving you a backup, manage and monitor, move your virtual machines one cloud to another. Guys, let me know if you have any issues with the lesson one, if you have any questions.
So with key question with Windows Azure. So do we have to know, I mean, detail about Azure, like, or just roughly just like this, or
No, no
have
as of
one?
now. No as of now. As of now, for the we are reading this according to the book, as we are learning Hyper-V. So Microsoft Azure is a separate entity altogether. It's a separate software, and I mean you need to know it if you are doing the job for Microsoft Azure.
So are we the one responsible working on Azure, or
No,
is it another dedicated team?
no, there will be a dedicated team.
I think it's clear.
There will be a dedicated team who will not work on Azure until and unless the thing is where we market is for Windows, VMware, Hyper-V, Linux. We are not marketing you for Azure because Azure is a different technology altogether.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. Yeah, because I know it's very huge topic, Azure. So thank you.
It's a very big topic. It's a very big topic. Maybe from next year, my plan is to start Azure also. I have to study it first.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm on the, I'll talk to you privately about Azure. Thank you.
Sure. So as of now, any questions, any doubts? I went through very deeply on this topic. Let me know. And thanks for saying that to slow down a bit. So, any questions? Did I miss anything, or did you miss anything? Do you want me to cover something again? Got it. Let's go to lesson two and see what exactly it has to speak about. System Center to it's speaking about the System Center 2012 R2 component, and what it's going to explain is explain how to use System Center 2012 R2 and manage data center. Describe the features and functionality of System Center R2 Virtual Machine Manager (VMM), uh, and how to see what are the features and functionality of App Controller, what are the functionalities of Operation Manager, what is the functionality of Orchestrator, what is the functionality of Service Manager, what is the functionality of Data Protection Manager. Using Microsoft Center System Center 2012 R2 to manage data center. So to manage data center. System Center 2012 R2 is a group of integrated management technologies that predominantly IT professionals use to deploy, manage, maintain, monitor, and automate servers. As if you have vCenter, as if you install vCenter server in VMware, this is a similar technology, but it has so much things more to do in it. So System Center 2012 is a group of integrated management technology that governs IT professionals use to deploy, manage, maintain, monitor. So these things you can do it using System Center 2012. Deploy a virtual machine, manage a virtual machine, maintain a virtual machine, monitor a virtual machine, and automate servers, computers, mobile devices, services, and applications. The following list summarizes the components and their purposes. System Center 2012 R2 Virtual Machine Manager. So this is one of the components. So System Center 2012 R2 Virtual Machine Manager VMM provides administrators with a single administrative tool for deploying and managing a virtualization infrastructure. So going forward, you will not go into Hyper-V. And why you are seeing a black screen is because it got locked out. So you will not go to Hyper-V to create a machine. You will, or to create a new virtual machine or to create anything. You will go to virtual, you will go to System Center, Virtual Machine Manager. So, it's a new thing which is integrated with the Hyper-V, and you will actually use that software to install a virtual machine or manage a virtual machine or monitor a virtual machine. You will not go to Hyper-V. So System Center 2012 Virtual Machine Manager provides administrators with a single administrative tool for deploying and managing a virtualization infrastructure, including managing components such as host, storage, network, library, update server. So this you will do all this using VMN, Virtual Machine Manager. You will manage a host. You can add a host, manage a host. You can add a storage, delete a storage, extend a storage, create new networks, work on libraries, update servers. VM also provides the foundation for managing virtual machine configuration and deployment. System Center 2012 R2 App Controller. System Center 2012 R2 App Controllers provides a self-service portal for administrators who are deploying and managing applications and services across one or more sites. App controllers enable you to access the manage resources from one or more VMs and from multiple Windows Azure subscriptions. So there is a in System Center 2012 there is something called App Controller. Using that App Controller, you can manage two different VMs and multiple Windows Azure subscriptions. So when you do a Windows subscription, how you can do a Windows Azure subscriptions by if you have to back up something, then if you have to install something, or if you are on the cloud. So these all things can be on the cloud. This can be managed via app controller. System Center 2012 R2 Service Manager. System Center 2012 R2 Service Manager offered service management, process automation, access tracking, asset tracking, and a self-service portal to access resources that are defined in the service catalog. Service Manager offers an easy-to-build configuration management database which pulls data from Active Directory domain services and System Center components. This allows companies to establish and use controls and operations based on guidelines of either the Information Technology Infrastructure Library or a Microsoft Operations Framework. So Service Manager, the component of System Center, Service Manager offers service management, process automation, and asset tracking. And it takes data from the Active Directory and System Center component. Now, what is System Center 2012 R2 Orchestrator? Orchestrator is again a different topic altogether. It's getting boom into the market. There are so many people. It's a very new technology from Microsoft, and there are so many people learning it and trying to make their careers in Orchestrator. It's coding, hell coding, and you need to know so many different languages to code the automation. So it's actually an automation coding. Like I have shown you how to install a virtual machine. In Orchestrator, there is nothing called installation. You just put the numbers. You need one CPU, 2 GB RAM, C drivers 40, D drivers 20. Click next. The virtual machine gets created. How? Because of the coding that has been done behind it. You don't need to install an operating system. It gets installed automatically. The System Center 2012 R2 Orchestrator. Orchestrator is a runbook automation component that allows administrators to integrate and automate their data center. Orchestrator utilizes integration packs, including many built-in packs that allow administrators to connect different systems. Operations Manager. Windows System Center 2012 Operations Manager. System Center 2012 R2 Operations Manager a is the management component that you use to monitor applications and performance. You can integrate Operations Manager with VMM, Service Manager, Orchestrator, and DPM. Operations Manager utilizes vendor authorized management packs that provide detailed information about the application and health state monitoring. So it's a monitoring tool. So System Center 2012 R2 Operations Center also have an operations tool. I mean, also have a monitoring tool where you can see how the VM is doing or how the cloud is doing, how the host is doing, how much the memory is getting used, how much the CPU is getting used. It's a monitoring package. System Center 2012 R2 DPM. System Center 2012 R2 DPM is an enterprise backup component that performs application aware block backup, block level backup. It utilizes volume shadow copy service, VSS. Very important. Volume shadow copy service. volume shadow copy service. It utilizes volume shadow copy service rights to help protect and recover applications such as SQL Server, Exchange Server, SharePoint Server 2012 ADDS. Additionally, it provides specific VSS writers for systems in the 2012 components. If you need anything more to learn, you can go ahead look at this website, and for some reason it's not open. So I think this is what the second lesson is all about. Following topics will examine each of the filter and integration capabilities in more depth. So what is VMM? VMM provides you with a single administrative tool for deploying and managing virtualization infrastructure. You use VMM to manage large number of virtual machine hosts and virtual machines using VMM. You can deploy and manage all components of your virtual machines and virtual machine host infrastructure. You can use VMM to manage a single virtual machine host computer or to manage as many as 400 hosts. This is the max you can using one VMM. From one virtual machine to 400 hosts to 8,000 virtual machines. That is 8,000 there. What you can do, you can use VMM to perform following tasks. Bare metal deployment of hosts. Bare metal deployment. So in the bare metal, what we have deployed 2012 R2 plus Hyper-V. So if you are using VMM, we can bare metal deploy of host. You can automate deployment of Windows Server host machine on physical server. So if you do the coding properly in VMM, you can deploy it. You don't need to do it manually. Automatically, you can deploy the server. Host and cluster creation. You can create Hyper-V host and cluster easily by using VMM console. This simplifies manual deployment and reduces the possibility of configuration errors. So you have to understand one thing here. I have created 3, 4 NICs in our server, but I might forget it after 5 days that what NICs I have created and how. If we automate things, it will become a standard across the company that every host has to have this NIC. So that's the standard. Host group, you can group hosts to manage multiple hosts. Cross-platform management, VMM support Citrix, then server host, and full management and supports VMware ESX host through integration with VMware vSphere. Storage configuration, you can configure and manage storage from VMM. Network configuration allows you to create and manage virtual networks using VMM. Intelligent placement help you select an appropriate host for the virtual machine based on available resources. Dynamic optimization, VMM can balance workload automatically according to the configuration threshold of core resources such as CPU, memory, and disk, and network utilization. Power optimization, you can configure VMM to use power threshold that you specify. This enables VMM to evaluate, and performance requirement of the Hyper-V host cluster and shutdown host if they are not required to provide adequate performance and resource optimization. CRO allows you to ensure that virtual machines are moved automatically when there is a resource contention. So you might have seen all this, mostly of all this on while going through VMware. So it's speaking about the clustering, it's speaking about high availability HA, it's speaking about DRS. Do you guys remember? DRS, high availability, doing a clustering, grouping of servers.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So Microsoft Server Application Virtualization, Server App enables you to virtualize server-based applications. So these are the things that can be done using VMM. Let's see what is app controller. So as we saw, app controller is something which manages multiple VMMs, manage multiple Windows Azure subscriptions, support self-service virtual machine deployment. So self-service virtual machine deployment. App Controller is a self-service portal that enables administrators and end users to control, deploy, and configure applications and virtual machines with across VMM. Suppose I have one VMM in Houston and one VMM in San Jose. So if I have to manage these both VMM, I need to have app controller. Using the app controller, I can manage both VMMs as well as Windows Azure. So app controller provides self-service capabilities and enable administrators to deploy and administer resources across multiple VM servers and across Windows Azure and service provider data center resources. You can configure app controller to use up to 5 VMM servers. So one VMM, let's see how actively you are listening. One VMM can host how many servers? Anyone can answer.
5.
No, we just read it. One VMM can host 400 servers, 400 hosts, and 800 guests. Important. So one VMM can host up to 400 VMMs. Sorry, one VMM can host up to 400 hosts and 8,000 guests. So app controller can host up to 5 VMMs. You can configure app controller to use 5 VMMs. This means 400 into 5, that is 20,000 hosts can be managed by app controller. And on top of it, 8,000 into 5, that is How much is 8,000 into 5? 40,000 VMs can be managed by an app controller. So you can configure app controller to use up to 5 VMM servers and their resources. App controller provides web-based access through which you can control applications, virtual machines, and virtual machine resources, including libraries and shares. App controller can control as many as 20 Windows Azure subscriptions. It allows you to upload virtual hard disk and images to Windows Azure from a library or from network share and add virtual machine to deploy services in Windows Azure. Additionally, you can manipulate and migrate virtual machines to and from Windows Azure. Now let's see Operations Manager. Operation Manager is a cross-platform monitoring and alerting solution that provides application and infrastructure monitoring. Operations Manager can monitor both physical and virtual layers, and it introduces a Fabric Health dashboard and Cloud Health dashboard. These dashboards provide status information such as host state, storage pool state, network node state, file share, and logical unit number LUN state. Other benefits of integrating VMM with Operations Manager include monitoring the health and availability of VMM Manager server, the VMM database server, and the Virtual Machine Manager library servers. You can also monitor VMware-based virtual environment. Viewing diagram views of your virtualized environment from within the operations console. Implementing pro tips, which collects performance data and host machine, virtual machine, and application. Pro tips enables you to automate changes to the VMM and host environment based on the performance information that operation manager provides. For example, if a physical hard drive fails, an alert in operation manager can trigger the migration of all virtual machines from a host to a degraded disk subsystem. Another example would be using my performance information to automatically scale out a web farm in response to increased transactions in VMM. So, in simple words, it's saying operation managers, what it do is it migrates the virtual machine from one host to another if there is a slightly or any issues with one host. Suppose we have 5 hosts. Right now I have only one server, one host. Suppose there are 5 hosts, and on every host there are 8 virtual machines. So 5 8 of 40. Okay, 8 virtual machines. Now what happened is all of a sudden on one of my hosts, one hard drive failed. What do you have to do? If the hard drive is filled, you have to replace the hard drive. To replace the hard drive, what you have to do? You have to turn off the server, right? So, as soon as the operation manager detects that on this server, this thing has happened, it automatically moves all the 8 VMs to other hosts. That will not move it to only one host. Now what it will do is it goes to VMM. Now what VMM do? VMM is very smart. VMM sees how to distribute the load. So he will distribute all 8 VMs to all the servers so that we can distribute the resources. Because every virtual machine is using some memory, some CPU. So now one server is completely off because operation managers figured out that one hard disk failed, and now the 4 servers have 10 virtual machines on. So all 40 are working there. Now one is off, so that we can go ahead and work on it. So this is in the simple words. What the operation managers do? Enabling maintenance mode integration. When you place host in maintenance mode, VMM attempts to put them in maintenance mode in Operations Manager. Integrating actual server analysis service SSAS, which allows you to run forecasting reports that can predict host activity based on history of disk space, memory, network I/O, disk I/O, CPU usage. SSAS also supports using a SAN for usage forecasting. That is all enough, man. Don't need it more. Let's see what orchestrator do. Orchestrator is a Microsoft runbook automation platform. So as I stated before, Orchestrator is a tool which automates. Orchestrator is a Microsoft runbook automation platform. You use Orchestrator to automate virtualization management tasks. Orchestrator allows you to create automation using the Orchestrator runbook designer. A runbook designer is simple drag and drop interface that makes it easier to design process to help accomplish complex tasks, which allows you to create quick automation without having to create and manage complex Windows PowerShell scripts. So it's a drag and drop interface to make an automation. So what do you want to do? You have to drag and drop to create. Orchestrator has number of built-in runbooks activity. It already has so many runbook activity that performs a wide range of functions and that you can extend with integration pack. Integration pack contains a runbook activity and object that allows Orchestrator to extend its capability to other Microsoft and non-Microsoft components. The Virtual Machine Manager integration pack includes tasks related to management of VMM, virtualization host, and virtual guest. Now let's see what Service Manager do. Service Manager is a system center component that you use to automate business processes and implement service management as defined in the Information Technology Information Infrastructure Library and the Microsoft Operations Framework. Many built-in products exist for incident and problem management and change, release, and lifecycle management. Virtualization environments are dynamic by nature. Therefore, you should manage them by using documented process and procedures that are based around the information technology infrastructure library and Microsoft Operations Framework. Service Manager can help you govern virtualization or private cloud computing with the following functionality. Service manager. This is a tool. This is a reporting tool, not a reporting tool. I'm so sorry. It's a ticketing tool. Service manager is a ticketing tool where you create tickets. Service manager is a system center component that you use to automate business processes and implement service management as defined as an information technology information infrastructure library and the Microsoft operations framework. Many pre-built products exist in the incident and problem management and change, release, and lifecycle management. Virtualization environments are dynamic by nature. Therefore, you should manage them by using documented process and procedures. And let's see the functionality. Management of incidents, problems, changes, and releases for applications and infrastructure owners, administrators, service analysts, and end users. Service managers offer a single location from which to govern and manage deployment changes, administrator administrate a complex virtualization environment. Service Manager provides a SharePoint-based portal that you can customize and configure with a software or service catalog that you can link a self-service request offering. You can configure request offering to trigger business approval process. Compliance. Service management have a downloadable downloadable management pack that can assist you with managing and automating IT governance risk and compliance responsibilities and can help you connect complex business connect objectives and Microsoft infrastructure. Management pack extends System Center 2012 article functionality and enables between, integration between System Center components. You can download and install a variety of management packs for most System Center components. And integration platform Service Manager has several available connectors to replace Service Manager full integration capabilities. You can use these connectors to import data into Service Manager configuration management in database from ADDS, CSVC file, and other System Center components. So, Service Manager is, in simple words, it's like a ticketing tool. That's what you need to know. Let's see what DPM is. So we already saw that DPM is a data backup and recovery solution that works with disk to disk and disk to tape. Disk to disk or disk to tape backup. You can use DPM to backup and restore Windows Server operating systems and servers and application servers such as this is the application servers that you can backup. I mean all the products, mostly all the products that are given by Microsoft. SQL Server, it's by Microsoft. Exchange Server, it's by Microsoft. Hyper-V, it's by Microsoft. File servers, ADDS, SharePoint servers. So these are the servers that you can backup and recover. DPM also includes support of system state and bare metal recovery, offers protection for Windows servers, desktop clients, provides some elements of service, self-service. So when planning a virtualization environment, you need to implement a backup system and that will back up the following items: virtual machines, host, server backup, ESS backup, Hyper-V, item level recovery support. So these are the things you need to think before going to virtualization. Virtual machines, sometimes referred to as virtual machine backups, in guest backups or traditional backups, these backups are usually unaware of virtualization and are designed with an application in mind. For example, Exchange backup should protect Exchange components such as stores and mailboxes. Additionally, if you want to protect your entire server structure, you should perform a system state backup and include drivers. If you must recover your entire server structure, you must use a recovery copy that includes a full backup of all of your components. Host server backup, not to be confused with the backing up with the host itself. A host level backup is a Hyper-V aware backup designed to protect the virtualization files that comprises a virtual machine. Virtualization files may include virtual machine configuration files, VHD files, and snapshots. DPM uses VSS to backup files while they run. You can use this form of backup to recover an entire virtual machine or one of its disks in place to the same virtualization host server or to an alternate virtualization host server. So the first one was the virtual machine backup. So we back up the virtual machine as needed, what components had to be backed up, and what to be backed up. So what happens is the first time when you back up, what will happen is the system back up completely, and it will take a hell lot of time to back up. So once the complete backup is done, the next backup, suppose after a week or after one day, getting backed up again, it will not back up the complete server again. It only back up that portion that got updated. Post server backup, it backs up the Hyper-V host pertaining to Hyper-V role. So it backs up VHD files because that files are for the virtual machines. If something happened to the disk and if we back it up and then we restore it, we get the virtual machines working back. Virtual machine configuration files, so that files can also be backed up. DVM provides the following important data center backup features. VSS backup. DPM uses VSS. What is VSS? Volume Shadow Copy Service. Volume Shadow Copy Service backup. DPM uses VSS to protect data source while the data source continues to run. This means the application, so in simple words, your application, your computer is still running, but the VSS takes the backup as a volume shadow service, shadow copy service. So it copies the data and put it as a backup. So DPM uses VSS to protect data source while the data source continues to run. This means the application server do not have to be taken offline while DPM provides the protection for them. After the initial full backup is completed, DPM can back up just a block changes incrementally, which allows for faster and more efficient backup and recovery. Hyper-V term level recovery support. DPM can recover specific files, folders, volumes, and virtual hard disks from the host level backup of Hyper-V virtual machine. Hyper-V host and guest support. DPM supports host backup, host-based protection when the agent is installed on the host computer and the guest-based protection when the agent is installed on the virtual machine. For guest running Windows Server 2003 and newer Windows Server version, DPM provides online backup that ensures that DPM does not impact the performance of the protected virtual machine when providing production. Integration with Operations Manager. Integrating DPM with Operations Manager provides monitoring the DPM environment via the DPM management pack. The DPM Central Console, which is built in Operations Manager, allows you to monitor all DPM servers from a central computer. You can use the Central Console to open a DPM administrator console to manage DPM remotely. So there are multiple ways that you can back up. Integration with System Center 2012 components. With the integration of DPM and Orchestrator, you can automate functions such as data protection and recovery using Service Manager and the self-service portal. Together with DPM and Orchestrator, you can also offer these functions as service to private cloud users. Windows Azure Backup, you can back up DPM data to Windows Azure. That is what the Windows Azure is for. Linux Virtual Machine Backup, DPM provides support for Linux virtual machines as well. Oh, here we completed lesson 2. So what we did is we saw the components of System Center 2012 party. Okay. So we looked at VMM, App Controller. So what is VMM? Virtual Machine Manager. What is VMM? Virtual Machine Manager. How many hosts a VMM can handle? Can anyone answer this?
Can you please come again? What was the question?
How many hosts a VMM can handle?
Yeah, the 400.
400, right. And how many servers?
8,000?
8,000 virtual machines, right?
Yeah.
So it's a UI, it's a console. VMM is a console which helps us in deploying, managing hosts and virtual machines. Now app controller. So app controller is another component of System Center 2012 which can host 5 VMM. That means 400 into 5 hosts it can handle. That is, how much is that? 400 into 5.
20,000.
2000. 2000 hosts and about 40,000 virtual machines. And then Operations Manager. Operations Manager is a monitoring tool which monitors the host, which monitors the virtual machine, monitoring and alerting software. And then Orchestrator. Orchestrator is an automation platform. It has different runbooks. You just have to drag and drop things to make it work, and it automates the deployment of hosts, deployment of virtual machines, storage, and other things. And then Service Manager. is a system center component that uses to automate business processes. And then DPM, Data Protection Manager. The name says Data Protection Manager. So it's a tool to backup disk to disk and disk to tape backup. Data Protection Manager, DPM. What is VSS and how it backups? It uses VSS to back up the data. Data Protection Manager uses VSS. And what is VSS? Volume, shadow, copy service. Guys, any doubts, any questions before we move into lesson 3? And before moving to lesson 3, I want to give you a break of about some time. You recommend how much break do you need? I can truly understand that we went through complete uh, theoretical class, so it might be a little boring. But let me know, are you guys understanding? Is it making sense? Please be clear. If it's not making sense, I will try to change. I will try to change uh, and to make you understand. I know there are two guys who never worked for IT or they never went through VMware class. So I have no idea how they are doing. I just need to know how are you understanding? I mean, are you understanding it good? Is it making sense of whatever I am speaking?
A little bit, but since the theories are so long, it seems it's starting to get boring.
I know, I know.
For me also, it's
Start
like
the practical. Go ahead.
the virtualization topic is like fresh topic for me. So I'm trying to get it. But last time I tried to virtualize, like I did VMware on my laptop. I installed VMware, then I installed Server 2012 on it. So I came to know what is virtualization, like cloud and everything.
Right, absolutely right. I know. Keep this topic. I mean, keep this topic, the components, what we read, and the other things, what we read, in mind, because we are going to use it more and more while we are doing the practicals. I can relate all these topics at that time and show you how what exactly we were speaking about. But since the book has started this way, I already shown you about three or four modules. We already covered it, but I thought of starting it once again from module one because we we started from module two. We never worked on module one. So now we will from lesson three we will speak about maps, and then we will move forward. So like 15-20 minutes break, is it okay for you guys? And then we will start it again.
Yes, the break is fine.